Last month, the A's left the Bronx with a 3-game sweep, something they had not accomplished in New York in 10 years. The A's had everything working that week in April as they surprised the Yankees with their updated roster. Now the scene shifts to Oakland as the Yankees and the A's open up a 4-game set in the East Bay. The Bronx Bombers are always tough, and their veteran lineup can hurt in many ways. The A's are on a roll, winning 4 in a row, and are looking for more. It's the A's and the Yankees. Game 1 is coming up next. The Yankees are in town, and hey, I thought Derek Jeter retired. He's here. He's in the lineup. No, he's not. Ivan Nova's going to pitch for the Yankees tonight. Kendall Graveman for the A's. It is the first of a 4-game series. The A's have won 4 in a row, and they're starting to put together a nice stretch. So it's the Yankees and the A's coming up on CSN California. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. The A's have the hottest hitter in baseball, at least from a home run standpoint, and that's Chris Davis. Ray, he did not hit his first home run this year till game number 16, and now he's got 12.
That was April 21st in New York against these Yankees. He started then, and what he has done on this homestand has just been unbelievable. 4 home runs, and it has not been a cheap one. 3 home runs in 1 ball game, including a grand slam walk-off. He had never done that, but he is just swinging so well. He's moved up on the plate, a little closer to the plate, that he can cover every part, especially outside. He did it yesterday afternoon following the 3 home runs. Little jump shot in honor of Steph Curry, but what a great addition he has been to this ball club, especially power from the right side. He is showing it, and even Joe Girardi would like to have Derek Jeter, but he'd also like to have Chris Davis.
Now, for the Yankees, it's pretty simple. You got to get to their starter. If the Yankees are winning after 6 innings, you're in trouble because they have their own version of the big 3, and these 3 guys are nasty.
They got Aroldis Chapman back. The A's did not see him in New York because the A's swept them. They probably would not have seen him, but look at Betances, Miller to Chapman. Those 3, 7th, 8th, and 9th, if they have a lead, it becomes a 6-inning ball game. So all those 3 capable of closing. Of course, Chapman brought over. He's a free agent after this year, but what an outstanding closer. 100 miles per hour minimum that he throws every time he throws a baseball. So it's a great back end of the bullpen. The A's definitely want to get the starter.
Yeah, and those 3 all pitched in the game last night in Arizona, so we'll see how Joe Girardi mixes and matches tonight. So, pitching matchup, a couple of right-handers, Ivan Nova and Kendall Graveman. It is the first of a big 4-game weekend series here at the Coliseum. Should be fun. A's and Yankees coming up.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, we're ready, Ray. You got your scorecard?
I should have had our picture on that scorecard.
You have a scorecard. You're ready to go. We both have ours. Josh Reddick is bringing out the lineup. He's been the good luck charm lately. So that will continue until the A's lose a game. Maybe that'll be a while. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. Looks like the warm weather has left us. It's supposed to be a cool weekend. 62 degrees right now. And a breezy night here at the Coliseum. The Yankees are in town for a big 4-game series, so we're looking forward to that. And let's look at the lineup for the Yanks. And here it is. It starts with Jacoby Ellsbury and then Brett Gardner, so a lot of speed at the top. Carlos Beltran is the DH. Brian McCann, Starlin Castro, Chase Headley, Dustin Ackley, Didi Gregorius, and Aaron Hicks. That is your Yankee starting lineup.
April 20th for Kendall Graveman, 6 1/3 against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Gave up a home run to Gregorius, and other than that, struck out 8, pitched very well. Since then, he's lost 4. So he'd like to take his Sweet Home Alabama walkout song and have it when he exits, maybe after a complete game. He has to have his sinker working. Cut fastball, we know, but the sinker is the most important to get the ground ball outs.
And the first pitch of the ball game is a sinking fastball at the knees, first strike. So first pitch, 7:07 here at the Coliseum. Ellsbury, Gardner, and Beltran here in the very first inning. Tapped foul, so a couple of early good sinking fastballs from Kendall Graveman. During that 4-game losing streak for Graveman, he's allowed 20 earned runs in 19 1/3. He was a little bit better in his last start at Tampa Bay, but still not quite as sharp as we've seen Graveman when he is going well.
Well, he just needs to be himself. He started his season, first 2 games. He had 10 ground ball outs in the first 2 games against the White Sox and the Angels. He needs to have success, and when he does, it's because of the ground ball outs.
Todd Tishner calling balls and strikes. The crew chief is Bill Miller. He's at first, Pat Holberg at second, and Brian Knight at third. 2-2 to Jacoby Ellsbury. A little flare, shallow left. Simeon's not going to get it, and it's going to fall for a hit. So the defense for the A's tonight. It has Coco Crispin left, Billy Burns in center, Josh Reddick in right. On the infield, Danny Valencia and Marcus Simeon on the left side, and then Chris Coughlin and Yonder Alonso on the right side, and Stephen Vogt is your catcher. Chris Davis will be the designated hitter. So leadoff man aboard, Ellsbury. He's a major base stealing threat, and here's Brett Gardner.
And just a reminder for those of you who are watching and listening, the cheers you might hear, there's going to be a lot of Yankee fans here this weekend. They seem to come out when the Yankees come to the Coliseum. Cheers went up very loudly when Ellsbury was jammed on a fastball and blooped it to left field. Just part of the program. Red Sox, Yankees. They have a lot of people attend the games here.
Gardner at 240. A little bit outside. Valencia comes in on the grass. Beltran to follow. 5 home runs for Gardner, 11 RBIs. Ellsbury inches off. He's not running, and the pitch misses outside. 2-0, 84 miles an hour.
Well, one thing Kendall Graveman will be able to do tonight is get his pitches to the left-handers, because there are plenty of them in the lineup. One big one, and Mark Teixeira is not in the lineup tonight. Is Alex Rodriguez still injured? Enough lefties in this lineup.
That one is slapped left side, foul. Heck of a play. Knock it down. Knock it down.
He's upset.
He didn't catch it. Come on, Scotty. Just the fact you did your job. You know, you protect them. They're not moving. It's all right. Just clank.
Showed some pretty good athletic ability there.
Exmo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. So 2-1 to Gardner. There's a strike. 2-2.
And his little cut fastball. That's the one that he likes to throw back door to the lefties. Of course, all these Yankee hitters, if they watch the great Mariano Rivera throw this pitch, they're very well accustomed to it. It's all Mo pitch, but outside corner, perfectly thrown.
Very not running. It's tapped towards Simeon. Shuffles to second. On to first. Got it.
And I think they're going to take a look. Joe Girardi says, hold on, let's take a look at it. And not surprised that on every play at first base, they will take a look.
And Gardner walked right to first base and is standing right on the back.
Well, he thinks he's going to be safe. We'll see on the replay what they're looking at.
I think he's out.
Yeah, and they're going to take a look at it. But is it?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
First one looked like he was out. That one looks like he's safe. This may be our best look.
Well, it's the old. Is there enough to overturn it? We'll see. Coughlin with a strong throw, stretched by Alonso, the jump by Gardner, and it's a matter of whether the ball's cleanly into the pocket of the first baseman's mitt or not.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort.
Shows you the speed of Gardner hitting from the left side, how quickly he gets down the baseline. This ball was hit hard by Gardner, and you know how many times we see there. Yeah, it didn't take long.
So it's fielder's choice, and Gardner is at first with one out.
Well, that's what they looked at, and see the ball was not in the glove by the time his foot hit the bag. And I think from the first base standpoint, that's what they look at. But surprising. Well, maybe Gardner is just overly confident because he definitely stayed there.
So here's Carlos Beltran, who taps one foul.
Now batting number 36, Carlos Beltran.
8 home runs, 19 RBIs for the veteran, DHing tonight, hitting at .245. Got 7 doubles. Earlier on this road trip, Beltran hit career home run number 400. So that's a major milestone.
Valencia talking to Simeon at second base and basically saying, I got to go to you because there's no way Coughlin where he's playing. So it has to be, if ground balls hit the left side, he has to go to him, which is understandable. You'll see probably more 5-6-3 double plays now than you've ever seen before.
There's the infield alignment. Strike on the inside corner. So 1-2 the count. Well, trying to go along with his 400 career home runs.
There's a 2-seamer inside, breaking back in the hitter off the plate.
He's also closing in on 2,500 career hits. He's got 2,488, so he's going to get there soon. It better not happen this weekend.
It's a lot
that
of
would
hits.
mean he's got a 12-hit weekend.
I think Frank Thomas came in one time with the White Sox, needed about that many for Milestone, and he's had a tremendous weekend.
1-2 the count. Gardner leaning, not running. Swing and a miss on a pitch down and in the dirt. Vogt grabs it, and that's a strikeout.
Time now for the Nissan keys of the game for Graveman. A repeat performance, not of the 4 games that he's lost, but the one that he had in New York on April the 20th. And he threw exactly like that. Then he struck out Beltran and keep the winning at home. The A's have won 3 in a row here. Of course, coming in, having won the game on Sunday, they've now won 4 consecutive games. But the most important stat is here at their home park.
First pitch to Brian McCann sinks low. Mark Teixeira out of the lineup for the Yankees tonight. Teixeira 6 for his last 38. So Joe Girardi giving him a night off.
Steady diet of left-handed hitters for Kendall Graveman, and that's why the sinker needs to be working. And the Beltran at bat was perfect because he threw the two-seam fastball, but he also struck him out on a breaking ball. And you remember the home run he gave up to Gregorius in New York, went down the right field line. After that, he started to throw the breaking pitches inside. Hitters were swinging over the pitches and got the 8 strikeouts. This is a little different park than Yankee Stadium. It's not 389 to left center and right center. It's a little bit more inviting here.
Runner goes. Strike called. Throw to second base is high. So Gardner has a steal. That is number 8 on the year for Brett Gardner. So he's in scoring position here in the first inning.
A great jump, and Stephen Vogt, more importantly, just getting the strike on the curveball. Tough pitch to throw with any consistency as far as quickness, but Stephen Vogt is not concerned about the stolen bases. He wants to get the out.
McCann hits it hard, but foul. So got to give Gardner credit. He picked the right pitch to go on. The curveball.
Surprising thing, though, Cap, to see a base stealer looking back.
Yeah.
You know, there's just no reason, and especially with 2 outs, if the ball is hit, then you just keep running anyway. Less than 2, you have to be concerned about a line drive, but if you're running, you're probably going to be doubled off anyway.
And that one right there, strike 3 call. McCann knew it. So a couple of strikeouts for Kendall Graveman in the top of the first. And here come the Yankees, or here come the A's in the bottom of the first. If you had to choose, where would you go? What would you do? Yeah. Yes.
I mean, why be picky? Just take one of each.
Would you load it up like that?
I'd stay with the youngins, but no, the rest of it, I'd do. At a heartbeat. Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. Chris Burns, Reddick, Valencia Davis, Vogt, Alonso, Simeon, Coughlin. That's your Oakland A's starting lineup for tonight.
Yeah, might not have a heartbeat. Ivan Nova, the A's saw him in New York, but he pitched out of the bullpen. And I think interesting about this whole scenario is that it seemed like I remember Nova and Sabathia both vying for the 5th spot in the rotation. Now both are in the rotation. A lot of changes from the Yankees since the A's saw them, but basically 4 pitches that Ivan Nova throws. So the A's just trying to keep their streak going.
Trying to get to 5 in a row. A's are 19-22. Game number 42. And Ray, you and I agree on most things. Not all, but most. We do agree on before you can really get excited, you got to get to 500.
Absolutely. Get there and then take off from there.
That's
right. You have to do it. And I definitely agree.
Coco, a shot. Short hop by Ackley at first, and Ackley steps in the bag. Ackley playing in just a little bit, and that was a tough play.
He plays all over the place and played on the left side of the infield, been playing in the outfield, shaved his beard, shaved his head, got everything to play a New York Yankee style of baseball, and handled a very hard hit ball.
So 1 out for Burns. The A's at home are 8-11. First place Seattle Mariners won earlier today in Baltimore. A's 11-11 on the road. So 8-11 at home, 11-11 on the road. But playing much better and with some dramatics along the way. Gregorius, nice play, and throws out Burns. So 2 outs. Let's look at the Yankees defense for tonight. Gardner, Ellsbury, and Hicks. That's good outfield to cover a lot of ground. Headley, Gregorius, Castro, and Ackley on the infield. And Brian McCann is your catcher. Hey, Reggie Jackson. That's pretty good talent right there. A's greats.
I saw Ricky downstairs. I said, "Oh, you're in town because of Yankees and Reggie." He goes, "I don't know about Reggie, but I'm going to be here." And there they are.
They can't get away from each other.
Yeah. Well, you figure Reggie's going to be here. Of course, huge part of the Yankee championships when he was playing for the Yankees.
Well, he just had a birthday. Was that yesterday?
Yesterday, had 70th birthday. Always in great shape. Reginald Martinez Jackson. And talking about Mr. October. Actually, both of them were very good in October, Ricky and Reggie.
But if you're the first one to get that Mr. October name, it's tough for anybody else to get it.
Exactly.
And I'm sure there's players that have had great Octobers, maybe players from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, but nobody got named Mr. October till Reggie did. Well deserved.
And of course, the son, Hal Steinbrenner, son of the late boss. And I remember the late boss, how about Dave Winfield called him Mr. May.
Yeah, that was a good line.
It was a good line, but it wasn't very good when it came to one of his players. But because he had Mr. October and
Mr. May.
Yeah, called him Mr. May.
So you're telling me that was not a compliment?
Probably, if there was ever a backhanded compliment, that was it. But now Dave Winfield was a 10-year contract with the Yankees.
See, when you're the first one to be Mr. October, you put it on the back of your hat.
So, yeah. And he signs his baseball that way too. Reggie Jackson, Mr. October.
And I don't think Dave Winfield has Mr. May on the back of his hat.
No. Did the Hall of Fame though. And in fact, I was talking to Mike Aldretti. They were doing the highlights, and they showed Dave Winfield getting hit number 3,000. It was against Eck at the Metrodome, and guess who was playing first? Mike Aldretti.
Oh, we saw that highlight somewhere recently.
Yeah.
2-2 to Reddick. Slap foul again. Reddick's got a homer and a couple of doubles in his career against Ivan Nova. 4 for 11. Reach for it, pokes it foul. And just the third start for Ivan Nova after those 6 relief appearances. CC Sabathia, as Ray said, will pitch tomorrow. He's going to come off the disabled list and start tomorrow. Check swing, no swing, and it's 3-2.
A lot of off-speed pitches to Josh Reddick, and with the defense alignment trying to get him to pull the ball into the shift, but everything he's seeing and fouling off the tough pitches. There's 3 to the right side. I asked Joe Girardi, I said, man, that was a great comment about shifts should not be allowed. And there they are shifting.
So Reddick's gone. 3 ground ball outs for Ivan Nova, and we are scoreless after 1. A's and Yankees. CSN California is brought to you by AAA. What is your insurance doing? It's not doing insurance. It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. Top of the second. No score.
It's a group jersey night with the Secretary League jersey. That's why the 43 worn proudly by those fans. Another number next to Reggie, Ricky, and Eck. Retired numbers up above, high on Mount Davis.
This is Starlin Castro leading it off. Castro, Headley, and Ackley for the Yankees here in the second inning. Yankees got a leadoff hit from Ellsbury in the first, but did nothing with it. And Graveman struck out a couple off the end of the bat. Simeon circles it, throws, and they just get Castro. Kind of got around that ground ball, which is what you're supposed to do.
Well, and that's a good point, because there's something that we talk about backhanding, but if you have a chance to do exactly what he did, then it sets himself up to be able to throw, and a good throw to Alonso at first. Sounded like the ball a little bit off the end of the bat, which creates a little bit of a funny spin on the baseball.
Here's Headley. Headley slaps one toward left field. Coco's not going to get it. He'll backhand it, and Headley's going to try for two. Coco's throw is cut off, and it's a double. So Headley gets his second double of the year.
Well, pitch was up, and that's exactly what hitters are supposed to do. And the location, not exactly where Kendall wanted it. And Headley, who for a long time this year started without an extra base hit, and Coco played it on the hop, but Headley also knows that he has a chance for a double with the ball slicing away from Crisp and able to get in safely.
There's Dustin Ackley. Ackley playing first base tonight. As Ray said, he's going to become a super utility guy. Yankees move him around.
Showing with the Mariners with a beard. Look at him now. Don't even recognize him.
Yankees got him from Seattle right at the trade deadline last year. Never really lived up to the hype in Seattle. He was the second overall pick 6-7 years ago, so very high draft pick. That doesn't mean he still can't have a productive career.
And it also means that versatility, even with the noted New York Yankees ball club, you still are a very important member of the club where he can play different positions.
And he hooks that one right field, but foul. Well, when he came up, Ray, he was playing second base, and I don't know that the Mariners were ever convinced that that was the spot that he could play every day successfully in the big leagues.
And shortstop, outfield, left field probably was the last before he came over to the Yankees. And
tried him in left. Joe Girardi playing his 9th season. Ackley taps it. Simeon waits for the good hop. 2 away. So Headley now at third.
Did you see Raymond?
No.
I didn't either.
No. We're not looking at Raymond anymore. We've looked at him for 13 years.
Hey, but you know what? You know what, Cap? I was listening to Chris Townsend the other night.
Yeah, Uncle Tony.
And guess who called in?
Yeah.
I could not believe.
Yeah, I heard that about 2 years ago, and I called him out on it, and he denied it.
Oh,
and I said,
no,
Raymond, you're lying to me.
Oh,
it was you. I know it was you.
And Tony calls him Ray, not even Raymond. And he was not telling the truth. I hate to say it, because I heard him, and he was chuckling, and I know all those guys over there, you know.
That's it. He's out. If you're a security guard right next to the visiting dugout, you can't call the postgame show.
That's exactly right.
It's like an unwritten baseball rule.
Try to move him down to the right field corner.
Then he'll be by the bullpen.
Well, even farther than that, they won't talk to him down there. I think Raymond initiates the conversation. 4 guys down there. Good backdoor cut fastball to Gregorius, and remember, it was Gregorius, who hit the home run on a pitch inside. Has power.
3 homers, 15 RBIs for Didi Gregorius. Good sinker there.
And that's the type of pitch. Keep it down because he's got a little bit of an uppercut swing and looking for the inside part of the plate to do some damage. And so Kendall Graveman, a great pitch to the uppercut. I mean, that's a New York swing there, Yankee Stadium swing. Probably watch Oscar Gamble.
And he did it again. Another good sinker, and Gregorius strikes out. So another runner stranded in scoring position. Valencia is going to lead it off. No score. Ball on CSN California is brought to you by Coors Light. Whatever your mountain, climb on. No score, bottom of the second inning. That fan's ready.
Better
Trying to
turn
figure
around.
out, is that a first baseman or a catcher's?
Better turn around and watch the game, though. Don't be looking backwards with the glove. That's not going to help.
Could be one of those like knuckleball catcher's mitts, you know,
that's
that
right.
kind of like half and half. I just think it's great when fans bring the gloves to the yard. Valencia off the end of the bat toward Gardner, and Gardner over, and he's got it. Do we have any Chris Davis highlights, Ray?
Oh, a whole bunch. When you want to watch Tomlinson, a fastball, 6 in a row, and the 6th got a grand slam for Chris Davis, and boy, his jump shot there. I like it.
You know what's great too, Ray? You know what's great too is those celebrations. You know, the coaches kind of stay back. Everybody stays back. It's just players around home plate celebrating. Right. There's nobody else there except the players. And you know, the coaches and the manager, they wait, let the guys celebrate, and then shake their hand.
Yeah. And then there's Michael Zagaras.
26th man. So 1-1 to Chris Davis. Davis 12 homers and 29 RBIs. As we said in our open, his first home run this year, Ray, was in game number 16. It was at Yankee Stadium.
Shreve, the lefty. Yeah, exactly. And
he was struggling early.
Yes, he was.
He's not struggling now. Breaking ball, and he went around. Tried to hold up, big overhand curve from Nova. So 2 outs, and here's our true story brought to you by McDonald's. May 8th of 2012. Brandon Inge hits a walk-off grand slam against the Blue Jays before Tuesday when Chris Davis did it. That was the last grand slam walk-off for the A's. Now before that, Ray, in 2008 against the Angels, do you remember that one? It was one of our all-time favorites.
Oh, Stairs?
Mark Ellis.
Oh, that's right. Stairs did it too. He had a lot of walk.
He had a whole bunch of.
Well, he only did it against Japanese-born pitchers. Seemed like for Matt Stairs, but yeah, Mark Ellis.
2008.
That's right. One of the biggest. It was not a grand slam, but it was a 3-run shot when Marco Scudero hit an 0-2 cutter off Mariano Rivera, hit the foul pole. That season of 2012, that was in May, but Brandon Inge and the whole team that year, it was a special season.
Vogt with a shot base hit left field. Well, Stephen Vogt has the first hit for the A's.
I thought it was interesting that today Jesse Hahn was throwing on the side. Stephen Vogt got dressed in his uniform. He went down and he said he was going to track baseballs from Jesse Hahn because he thought Hahn threw similarly to Nova tonight. And he also said, remember when he talked to us in Seattle, how he said, I need to let the ball come to me. He said, I've been jumping at everything. He says, I'm swinging at the rosin bag. So that point there, he stayed back, went to left field, and that's called staying back, trusting your hands, taking to the opposite field. They're playing him to shift to the right side, but he did a great job going to left field. So good start for him.
There's Yonder Alonso. Alonso starting to get rolling a little bit. 235 now, a homer and 10 RBIs. He's hitting .309 over his last 23 games, and this is game number 42 for the A's. So we're seeing more of what Yonder Alonso's all about. Hitting the ball like that the other way, and hits it well. Gardner's back, and Gardner with a very fine catch. Bounces up against the wall. Side retired. So very nice defensive play, and it probably saved a run. So we are through 2 innings here at the Coliseum. No score. Cool night at the ballpark. This is Aaron Hicks leading it off. Hicks playing right field. Yankees are 17-22 on the year. So game number 40, and they have not played well on the road, Ray. They're 5-12.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
And they're going to need to be better there. More action for Semien. His throw is in time.
Yeah, they're going to hold it again.
They may.
Yeah.
Tony Pena is the first base coach, and he sort of pointed toward the dugout.
Well, Semien caught it and then had to throw it quickly. And nice stretch by Alonso. This time, though,
he's out.
He is out this time. And yep, let's go back to the next hitter. But boy, I still say, and we see a lot of hitters jump at the bag, and that's just enough time for being in the air for the ball to reach the glove. The first base, the Northern California native. See the Semien throw there, how much he got on extra he got on it, and knowing the speed of Hicks, especially out of the left side of the batter's box.
So 1 out for Ellsbury. There's a strike. The Yankees were just in Arizona, and they lost 2 out of 3. They lost the first 2 games of the series, then won last night. So interleague matchup there. The Yankees will play the NL West this year. So a poor road record, and they're in a stretch right now where they are playing 16 of 19 on the road. Good pitch. Good tailing action, and that is strikeout number 4 for Graveman.
Yesterday, the A's and Sutter Health kicked off the Fitness Sluggers program. Fitness Sluggers from Oakland Elementary Schools distributed sunscreen to players to support sun safety awareness. The inaugural season of this program, sponsored by Sutter Health, is designed to educate and encourage youth ages 5 to 14 to live healthy and active lifestyles through instructional activities. For more information, check out athletics.com/fitness. Let's see it, 5 to 14. I don't think we don't qualify. Probably not quite in that category.
2 outs for Gardner. Gardner takes a pitch close but low.
Reading that promo, but the 2-seam fastball by Graveman, one of the best he's thrown tonight as far as getting the strikeout and pushing Ellsbury back.
Another close pitch called the ball.
Ellsbury, look at this ball, how much it moves. Ellsbury backed off. That almost ended up down the middle of the plate. Ellsbury looking back. Nothing really to argue about with that one.
And now 3-0. So Stephen Vogt will check in on Graveman, but that stretch of games that I'm talking about with the Yankees, they have 7 on the road, which is where they're at right now. 3 at home and then 9 on the road.
Yeah.
So that's a tough stretch. So they need to play better on the road, and Baltimore and Boston both off to very good starts in their division.
They'll say they know they're going to play the same number at home, but to have this many on the road early, you need to have a good start on the road, because to play that many, I mean, they're going to draw people. They always do.
Gardner shows bunt, and the pitch is low, and it's a walk. Well, Gardner, keep an eye on him because he stole the base in the first inning, and that's one of the things he does extremely well.
Number 36, Carlos.
Well, with 2 outs, just concentrate on the hitter, because you worry so much about Gardner and Beltran up. He can hurt you as much with the bat as Gardner trying to steal second. And boy, Semien playing on the outfield grass behind second.
First pitch is outside.
I think this is where, and Stephen Vogt is going to talk again to Kendall Graveman, maybe just to tell him to sign, but do something. But the bottom line, you can't change your game plan and how you call a game based on the possibility of a good base stealer at first.
There's that start at Yankee Stadium, his only win of the year. Close. And 8 strikeouts. Is a career high. The home run ball has been a problem for Graveman lately. It looks like tonight the sinker's working pretty well.
Alonso put his glove up. I don't know, to indicate to the dugout or to credit. Graveman back off the mound, now coming back. So it was maybe more of nice throw, good location with a throw, but just got back safely, did Gardner.
Off speed or down and in again. A little slider maybe.
Yeah. Let's see Vogt calling it in, wanting it inside, and that's the pitch that Kendall Graveman had a lot of success in New York as the left-handed hitters continually swung over the pitch.
Another good move by Graveman.
Quick feet. Big lead by Gardner.
Beltran waits. Gardner not going, and it's outside. 2-1.
Thing about throwing the breaking ball inside, which Kendall Graveman likes to do to the lefties, you have to keep the ball down, which he has done tonight with the 4 strikeouts, keeping the ball down low, because you don't want to hang one coming inside of the power hitters.
That one rolled fair down the third baseline. Gardner can fly. It's picked up by Coco Crisp. Gardner's being waved home, and he's going to score easily. And the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
And you cannot do anything about that. Not a bad pitch. We give credit to Beltran. Pitches outside, and he just slapped it. And there's your shift, and he couldn't have rolled it better. Coco playing him also over there. And Gardner with 2 outs, he could run and run fast, which he can. Didn't have to steal second. And he's running right there to score, not even looking at his third base coach. It's him all the way. So this coming with 2 outs and a walk. And unfortunately, the walk led to a run with Gardner on the 3-1. Taking a low fastball, walking, did not attempt to steal, scored on the double.
Now Beltran gets his 20th RBI. McCann takes low. But Gardner, watch how he cuts the bag at third the way you're supposed to. And that can gain you a step.
Yeah, absolutely. And
see, some guys, they end up way over the coach's box.
And he was not even thinking about doing anything but scoring. He knew the ball was in the corner and knew, is it against the defense?
McCann struck out looking in the first inning. In for a strike. McCann 5 homers, 17 RBIs. So a little bit of a slow start for McCann. Last year he hit 26 home runs and knocked in 94. Three and 1 with the shift on. Simeon playing right behind second base.
And the only right-hander in the lineup coming up next.
And that would be Starlin Castro.
His first base open, and really got to think about it because McCann wants to do one thing, and we got a runner in scoring position.
And he drives one toward right. Reddick hustling back, and Reddick dropped it. And with 2 outs, Beltran wasn't running, and he's not going to score.
Wow, what is...
Carlos Beltran forgot how many outs there were. He should have just been running on the play and really just almost walked home, and he forgot. And the A's catch a break. If you can catch a break on an error, they just caught one.
And Boss was sinking a little bit more than maybe Josh thought as he went back. And he tried to do the basket catch. He just missed it completely and got it off his right shin. But that ball just, his momentum was going backwards. But watch Beltran. It looked like he took off initially. But then, oops, how many outs? That's going to be caught. I got to go back and Oh, that's talk about a break and embarrassment. We also saw that in St. Petersburg. Longoria looked like he forgot how many outs there were when he threw to first, put a runner in scoring position, but this one was huge.
So here's Castro.
Especially with a hanging breaking ball. That just talking about the breaking ball coming into the left-hander, and it was a hanger. But boy, even the hanger going to Josh Reddick, the sure-handed one, thought that it's going to catch it easily.
Castro lays off that one. Now 2-0. Wonder, Ray, too, it is a breezy night, and you wonder if that one had any effect on the ball out to Reddick. Listen, we're not trying to make excuses for Reddick. He's a very good outfielder.
I think the top spin on the ball probably affected it more than anything.
A liner. Valencia has it side retired. So the Yankees get one, but they should have got two. A's will take it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. PG&E together building a better California. Bottom of the third from the Coliseum on a Thursday night. Yankees with a 1-0 lead.
The break of all breaks. I mean, that's unbelievable.
So we'll see what the final score is.
Well, even the line drive that Castro hit caught by Valencia, that could have been down in the corner and scored a couple of runs.
0-1 to Marcus Semien, 231 with 10 homers, 20 RBIs, and a curveball launched down the left field line. Gardner into the corner, and it is foul.
Wow.
By about 3 feet, maybe.
If that, it hit in the top of the pad, it looked like, right in front of the foul pole. But it definitely went in front.
Maybe a foot.
Yeah. Because it came down and that close, and at the top of the pad it did come back, but it was in foul territory. So, hanging curveball that Semien was just so quick, it was out in front of him.
Semien's 10 home runs has him tied for 6th in the American League in that category. Not too shabby.
But we're going to talk about his offense, his 10 home runs. Who knows what it 20-25, but his defense we're going to talk about more and more, and that's really league wide. Number of people talking about Marcus Semien and talking to Ron Washington about Marcus and how much he's improved.
2-2 pitches away. Chris Davis and Todd Frazier, Mark Trumbo, Robinson Cano all have 12 home runs. Machado has 11, and then Marcus Semien with 10. Swing and a miss, struck him out with the sinking fastball at 93 miles an hour. One out here in the bottom of the third, and that gets us to our Ford right choice. Rich Hill, good again. 6th win of the year. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, struck out 6, 106 pitches. So he got some offensive support late to kind of blow the game open.
Well, but
he didn't need it.
No, 6 strikeouts, 3 on the curve, 3 on the fastball, and Stephen Vogt once again behind the plate to catch him, and he finally picks up a win at his home park with a 5 on the road. But yesterday afternoon, 6 very, very good innings to pick up his first home win.
Rich Hill now with a 2.54 ERA. That's 7th best in the American League.
One thing he did yesterday, Cap, which I thought was outstanding, was he altered his delivery. Sometimes he would hesitate. Other times he'd quick pitch. That all worked well for him.
And he's settling in nicely. Coghlan is retired on the ground ball.
Now batting left fielder.
So 2 outs here in the bottom of the third.
Coco.
Top of the order, and Coco Crisp. Coco hit a smash to Ackley at first, leading off the bottom of the first. Ivan Nova's a Tommy John guy. And Tommy John surgery in April of 2014. Came back last year in June.
Saw Chris Bassett on the A's bench with whatever you call the elbow. The kind of extension. Felix LeBron showed me that contraption, but he showed me that they gradually extend the arm. You know, he showed me the dial.
There it is.
But there it is. It's a long workout process rehabbing. So wish him the best. A's have a couple. And then Mark Canha on Tuesday will go into the knife. Sam Fuld out. Eric Sogard recovering from his knee surgery on Kane, or I guess
broken bat. Nova grabs it, so it's a good inning for Ivan Nova. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out.
favorite 70s classics on Grease Movie Fireworks Night, presented by Xfinity, which is game 2 of this 4-game series against the New York Yankees. After the game, Fans can watch the fireworks show from the outfield grass. As always, on-field capacity is limited. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/fireworks. I see it's a little bit after 8. That means in 4 hours it's his birthday.
Well, I'm looking at it differently. I'm saying 1 hour. It's my birthday in New York.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, you know,
but you're in California, man. You can't. Or you can.
Trying to speed up the celebration.
Speed it up.
Yeah. Swing and a miss by Headley. 1-2. Headley, Ackley, and Gregorius here in the top of the 4th inning. Yankees with a 1-0 lead. Headley had a double in the 2nd inning. 3 hits for the Yankees, 1 hit for the Athletics so far. Good pitch, down and in. Headley swings and misses, and that is strikeout number 5 for Graveman. That's the same pitch that was working at Yankee Stadium.
Exactly. And the one that he hung to McCann, but this one is perfect because it's down and in. Lefty swinging over it. It looks good, and all of a sudden the bottom drops out. Right there, it looks good. But Headley, who hit his double, but this time, good breaking ball got it.
8 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings in New York. 5 strikeouts in 3 1/3 innings tonight. Now 2-0 to Ackley, who grounded out to short. No Alex Rodriguez for the Yankees. There's the breakdown of pitches. Pitch count's a little high for Graveman. So Alex Rodriguez is on the disabled list with a hamstring. I had read a couple days ago there was possible that he would be back this weekend, but I have not heard anything more about that. 3-0 pitch is high.
Well, Kendall Graveman at Yankee Stadium. That sinker that they tried to pull turned it into a double play. So he had the ground ball outs. Check swing there. Alex with the fastball inside. And there's the backdoor cut fastball. Another one there. And this was, how about this? This is the one right there. That's the one that he was very successful against McCann and Gregorius with a breaking ball down and in. Did it again there to Ellsbury. And everything was working great for him. And
Simeon has it. Out at second, the turn, and they got him. Double play turned by the A's. 6-4-3. Coughlin hanging in there, and Graveman likes it. 1-0 Yankees as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Kelly Moore paints. celebrating 70 years as your neighborhood store. So 1-0 Yankees, bottom of the 4th inning. See the heavy jackets, the pullovers are out tonight.
Just think a couple of nights ago was 76 first pitch. 14 degrees cooler tonight for this one.
Actually talked about a possibility of a little rain on Saturday, which is a bit strange.
I hope it's just the possibility, because the Yankees are only here for this weekend.
Last year, the A's won 4 out of 7 against the Yankees. Yankees were the Gregorius, a nice play, shading Burns over a little bit.
Well, what's better than taking your family to the ballpark on a Friday night? How about tomorrow night? With a Friday family pack, you get 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, 4 bags of peanuts for just $60 at every Friday home game. Buy now at athletics.com/family pack, subject to availability.
So here's Reddick with 1 out. In their first strike. Last year, the Yankees won 87 games, and they were the #1 wild card team. So you get to host that wild card game, but it didn't do them any good. They lost 3-0 to the Astros. They missed the postseason in 2013 and 2014.
2 years that Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera retired.
That's right.
Or reversed that way, but the 2 years that you hope to go to the postseason on behalf of those 2 players, they did not.
And with their little bit of a slow start this year, sounded like the Steinbrenner family this week not happy. A few things to say. That one hit to right field, and it's hit well. Hicks going back. He's at the wall, and it is gone. Just over top of the yellow line, Reddick homers to tie up the game at 1.
Been a while for Josh Reddick, but hey, he misses a fly ball. Something's good's going to happen. How about a breaking ball down in his swing, and a curve ball right exactly where he wanted it to be able to open up and golf it over the out-of-town scoreboard. His 5th, and it's first since April the 24th. So great for him. And just barely over, but just enough to tie it at 1. And right now, that big run of Carlos Beltran.
Telling you, it's going to come into play. It always does. And here's Valencia, who hit a fly ball to left field in the 2nd inning.
Well, one guy's hoping it doesn't, and you're looking at him right there. Because for a veteran of many years, as Carlos Beltran has been.
Base hit, line shot by Valencia.
Well, this is where it lands, just above the out-of-town scoreboard on the ledge. And the way it happens, it looks like that ledge is about 4 inches wide, but you can see it's much bigger than that. Rothschild, the pitching coach, to the left of Girardi, and Raymond knows the camera, so he's hustling back to get in the camera. But good swing by Josh Reddick, and 2-strike protecting swing. And a curveball hit very nicely by Red. Looks like he wants to get it kind of in on the home run swing too, doesn't he? With Valencia and Davis and Semien, guys hitting home runs, and Josh Reddick gets a big one tonight to tie.
So here's Davis, struck out in the 2nd inning. Taps that one to third. Headley charges, nice play, throws to second for 1, on to first, and a double play. 5-4-3, and that will do it for the A's, but they get a Josh Reddick solo home run, his 5th of the year. So it's a 1-1 game. And Aaron Hicks to lead it off. Hicks, first pitch swinging, hits it on the ground to Coughlin. Pitcher's dream, huh?
Yeah, okay. You know, baseball is a funny game, as we know. How about this? Ackley gets a 4-pitch walk.
Now batting.
And the next 2 pitches, one pitch to Gregorius is a double play. The next pitch is a ground out. So after a 4-pitch walk, the next 2 pitches results in 3 outs.
That's true.
You know, it's amazing. 4 pitches out of the strike zone to Ackley. And Gregorius, you know, hitters will say, okay, you can give me a fastball on a swing. Turns it into a double play. And then here we go. But they'll take it. So Ellsbury said, I can change that. I'll take the first pitch and got to throw strikes.
Swing and a miss. Swung over top to Ellsbury, who has singled and struck out. Taps that one, foul.
Tony. Oh, that's right. You're a catcher. Tony Pena, former manager of the Royals, great catcher. Now first base coach. 4-time Gold Glove winner. Can still throw batting practice. Probably can still get down in the most unbelievable catcher's crouch I've ever seen.
Oh, and Ellsbury hit by a pitch. He'll try to jog it off.
Another breaking ball too sharply going in, bearing down on the right shin, to the right of the shin of Ellsbury. That's a thud.
Now batting, number 11, Brett Gardner.
So 1-out base runner for the Yankees. And now Gardner will hit. It's just where if you're Ellsbury, you're dying to just steal a base right now.
So your shin doesn't freeze up.
A little bit outside. Valencia a couple steps in on the grass.
Well, one of the things about the Yankees and all the lefties, the outfield shading the Yankee hitters, the lefties, to the left side, but have to cheat up the middle for a possible double play in the middle infielders. But pretty straight up defense against Gardner. But the one thing with the pitches outside, you just have to wonder if they're going to try to go to the opposite field or try to roll over.
Yankees are 13th in the league in total runs scored, so that's a bit of a surprise. They're 10th in the league in home runs. They're 6th in the league in stolen bases. Do not see it very often where Yankees struggle like this to score runs. They've scored 146 runs. The A's, on the other hand, have scored 164. A's are 10th in the league in that category. Yankees were a really, really good offensive team last year. They scored a whole bunch of runs. It has not been the case so far this year. Good pitch there, 2-1. They are last in slugging and second to the last in on-base percentage. How does that happen?
Now for the Yankees, good cut fastball outside corner. So same pitch thrown to McCann at last inning.
Ellsbury inches off. Bunted, and it's a good one, and it's going to be a hit. Perfect bunt by Gardner. Even with Valencia in. But that's textbook technique right there. If you want to know how to do a little push bunt as a left-handed hitter, watch Gardner on this one.
And just deadens the ball perfectly. Got it on the grass. It was not going to roll. But that is textbook. Kendall Graveman said, I have no chance. And it was definitely not going to roll foul. But the push out of the box. And perfectly executed, and speed on the bases for the Yankees.
And don't you want to, Ray, when you bunt it, you want to hit it off the end of your bat a little bit because it deadens it.
It definitely deadens it, yeah.
The only time you want to hit a ball off the end of the bat, but do it when you're bunting.
Yeah, hit it on the sweet spot. You might hit a base hit to left field, but that's off the end will definitely deaden it.
So now 2 on 1 out. Beltran the hitter. The shift is on. Simeon right next to second base. Valencia has to stay close to third.
Well, really, it's a question: does Beltran try to pull the pitch? First inning, he swung and missed the breaking ball, but the next at bat is when he shot the ball down the left field line.
2-0 the count. On deck is Brian McCann. Great speed on the bases with Ellsbury and Gardner. Beltran with the strikeout and the RBI double, but he made the costly base running mistake. Cost the Yankees a run in the third inning. If you're just joining us, he was at second base when Reddick dropped McCann's fly ball with 2 outs, but Beltran thought there was 1 out and he wasn't running, and he would have scored easily, and he ended up at third, and the Yankees did not get another run. So he knows it. Probably not happy about it.
And hopes all the New York fans are asleep, which they're probably not.
It's in a good spot here. 3-1. And he hits it hard. Coughlin's got it. Fires to second for 1, and that's the only out the A's will get, but a very nice play by Chris Coughlin. That ball was hit very hard.
Excellent play by Chris Coughlin, and to be able to get the lead runner at second, Gardner. And Simeon, nice fake at second base. He started to throw and then looked to third base to see what Ellsbury was doing. Chris Coughlin playing relatively shallow, had to, with the possibility of the double play. Cut the ball off. Nice footwork at second by Simeon, and then the fake to first base with no chance to get Beltran, but Ellsbury alert at third base.
So now runners at the corners, 2 outs for Brian McCann. McCann a strikeout, and then he reached on that error by Reddick. So McCann always dangerous. Very good hitter. Graveman has had to work out of trouble quite a bit tonight. And now it's 2-0. And that misses badly. So he's a little out of whack right now. 3-0.
May 28th last year here, and Kendall Graveman in a day game, and that ball into the seats. The A's did win the game 5-4, 5 2/3 innings by Graveman. He gave up 3. I'd say he's got the green light, Kite. What about you? What do you think?
I think he's got the green light on 3-1 too.
Well, that pitch, had he swung, it had been a fly ball to center field. A great pitch by Graveman, even though it was up a little bit, but it was away.
Runner goes, and it's outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So 3 walks now in the game 5 strikeouts for Graveman, but again he seems a little out of whack in this inning. So they're going to start moving around out in the A's bullpen. Zepchinski takes the jacket off.
Guys look like they're cold down there. Huh? Got the heater going. You got heavy jackets on. Kurt Young hustled out to the mound, have his conversation with Kendall Graveman, and Bob Melvin, the A's skipper, on the phone to the dugout or the bullpen.
Now batting, number 14, Starlin Castro.
So here's Starlin Castro. Castro, a free swinger big time. He's only walked 7 times this year. Tonight he has grounded out, and he hit a line shot into the glove of Danny Valencia. First pitch grounded in the hole. Simeon's going to go to second, and they got him side retired. So Graveman works out of it again as the Yankees leave him loaded in the top of the 5th. CSN California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. It's roundup time. Take the beach train to Santa Cruz or the Redwood Forest train to Bear Mountain. 1-1 game, bottom of the 5th inning. Looks like a Yankee fan in the house, a few of them. He's going to go free. He's going to take a little nap. There it is. See it. Gotta go. Gotta go. Or as my dad used to say, when I used to say, Dad, you were sleeping in church, he'd say, no, Glenn, I was resting my eyes.
There you go.
And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. That gentleman is just resting his eyes.
Go tell him.
Maybe he's one of those famous Yankee security people that they travel with.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yankees feel like they need that extra security.
Well, I always thought, of course, the alias is that many years ago, when I learned that Scott Brocious, who was a great player with the A's, and he went to the Yankees, and even Bro had an alias. I said, man, you arrived.
There's a shot by Vogt. He's got another hit. So Stephen Vogt is 2 for 2.
For more than 95 years, AAA's School Safety Patrol Program has helped millions of grade school children serve as AAA School Safety Patroller. That's pretty good. Yesterday, the A's welcomed 60 school safety patrollers from 10 elementary schools from around the Bay Area. Student patrollers learn proper pedestrian practices at a young age and help schools gain control of their school zone. That's important. Know the pedestrian rights.
Yep.
They walk, you stop.
Pretty simple. Alonso taps one slowly towards second. Castro has it to Gregorius, and that's a double play.
Well, there have been some double plays tonight.
Well, that's 2, right, for the Yankees. He's got 1.
Great swing by Stephen Vogt to start the inning. Then next pitch, ground ball, 4-6-3 tailor-made double play.
Number 10, Marcus Semien.
10 ground ball outs for Nova, and through the 5, Kendall Graveman has 9. So Clay Wood's going to be busy tomorrow, getting the field ready with all the divots from the ground balls.
A little bit outside to Semien, who struck out in the 3rd inning. 2 strikeouts for Nova. He has not walked anybody. So he's pitched well in his 3rd start this year. Kind of an easy delivery. Just a lot of downward movement on all his pitches.
Think of the same thing, and he's it's almost like, and Stephen Vogt twice, base at the left field, base at the right field. He's waited, but Nova with the big delivery, but not really a lot on the pitches, and the guys keep beating the ball on the ground.
Good sinker there again. Gregorius charges. He's got it across the diamond side, retired. So 6th inning coming up from the Coliseum. We are all tied at 1. Teacher program recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school.
A lot of munchies tonight for the fans, huh?
Trying to stay warm. One and 0 to Chase Headley. 6th place hitter for the Yankees. Headley a double and a strikeout.
A fine line for Kendall Graveman on the outside part of the plate where he wants to stay with the sinker and the cut fastball.
Four hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Yankees have stranded 7 through the first 5 innings. So they've had some opportunities, but Graveman has pitched through those opportunities.
Great thing about Graveman and his pitch selection, he can throw the breaking ball into the left-hander, breaking ball backdoor. He can throw the two-seamer coming back, two-seamer away. So a lot of variations.
Burns will play it on a hop.
Hanging breaking ball. Yep. Not what you want.
So hit number 5 for New York.
Not what he was trying to do, but he did it. And with 2 strikes, Headley with a breaking ball and the base hit with the 2-2 count. Did not throw it very hard, and that really helps the hitter, especially with one who shortens up as Headley seemed to do on that one. So a couple of hits tonight for him.
Ackley shows bunt, and it's a strike.
That looked like it's going to be a slap bunt. And maybe try to slap it by Valencia into left field.
So Zabzinski gets up for the second inning in a row. Yankees have had 12 base runners now in this game. And it's 1-1. Ackley has grounded out and he has walked. Gregorius, another left-handed hitter, will be next. And all these left-handed hitters, you may see Zabzinski and Doolittle tonight.
Exactly. Whoa.
They get him? Yes. Headley doesn't agree. He's chewing on Bill Miller a little bit.
Rob Thompson, the bench coach, he was taking off, and the quick throw and good location, and boy, he got him on the arm. Check the arm, a quick tag by Alonso. That's the important part right there, to get him.
He was out.
Yeah, before he got back to the bag. So great move with a lean towards second base. There's the tag with his hand coming up to avoid sticking the fingers into the bag.
And Ackley rips one right up the middle, and he's got a hit.
It's one thing to make the throw, but the quick tag, look at the hands. Base runners do not want to take the fingers straight into the bag, and as a result, they kind of lift the fingers, and when Headley lifted the fingers, that's when the tag was applied quickly by Alonso.
You know, Ray, watching Headley in disagreement, looking at Bill Miller and saying some things to him, he was clearly out. I wonder if he was complaining about the move.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? Because he was out. Is there anything wrong with the move?
I didn't see anything wrong with it, because there are guys who would do that, and it's all about it. You can't bend the front leg because, or the back, I guess, because whenever you do that, it's kind of a balk move.
It's going to be another hit. And Ackley is going to try for third. Here comes Reddick's throw, and it's there, but a little late, going to second, and they're going to get him there. Yes.
Wow. 3 base running mistakes by the Yankees, 2 in this inning. Well, what a great throw by Josh Reddick, an even better throw back to second base. Getting Gregorius, who thought going to third, but Josh Reddick with the throw to third. Valencia quickly back to second, and a quick tag by Simeon getting Gregorius, and that is huge because that's second and third, 1 out instead of running third and 2 outs.
So indeed another mistake, but also well executed defensively by the A's.
Well, Simeon getting a quick tag again to Gregorius, tried to go around the tag, but Simeon stayed with him and then pulled the glove out to avoid having the ball knocked out of his glove.
The Yankees are trying to decide whether they want to look at it or not. And I don't think they're going to.
Well, he's saying if Ackley, wouldn't that have been something if Ackley had missed second, going to third? Joe Girardi might have just walked up the clubhouse. I mean, look at what the possibilities of this inning could have been.
3 straight hits.
Yeah. And meanwhile, 2 outs, a runner at third. So Graveman gets out of this inning. He can take his entire defense to dinner.
Yeah, that last one hurt. I mean, you can see what Gregorius is doing, but you got a guy on third with 1 out. You're right where you want to be.
Well, Ackley's looking, but yeah, he got the side of the bag, and that's the umpire looking at him as he hit the bag. I mean, you don't want to hit on top of the bag and fall down, so he went to the side and kind of pushed off, which is good base running.
0-1 to Hicks. Hicks toward left field. That's going to get down, and it's fair. So Ackley will score. Hicks with a big double, and the Yankees do end up scoring here in the 6th inning. So that's a big hit.
Another pitcher was left up, unfortunately, for Kendall Graveman, and another ball hit hard to left field. Headley did it back in the second inning on a similar pitch, and Hicks went that way with a foul ball. This one, though, landed fair.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change at Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Sharks post-game coverage is airing right now on CSN Plus. CSN Plus can be found on Comcast channels 105 and High Def channel 780, DirecTV channel 698-1, and AT&T 768 and 1768 High Def. If you can't find CSN Plus, log on to csncalifornia.com or call your local cable provider. Mark Sebzinski comes in, try to get Ellsbury. First pitch is bounced to first, and that will do it. A run on 4 hits for the Yankees. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 2-1 New York. Important scores. The Mariners beat the Orioles. That was a day game 7-2. Adam Lind with a big 3-run homer. Carnes got the win. Wilson took the loss. So the Mariners continue to play great on the road. White Sox behind Chris Sale beat the Astros 2-1. Chris Sale 9-0. And top of the 5th in Anaheim, the Dodgers lead the Angels 3-2. That's Stripling for the Dodgers and Chacin for the Angels. That's the final of that 4-game series, and the Angels have won 2 of the first 3 over the Dodgers. So the Mariners are now 23-17.
Who was the winning pitcher for the Dodgers in that one win?
Yeah, said that before.
Wow.
He is amazing.
Well, it's just a one-run game, and could be and should be, from the Yankee standpoint, a lot bigger deficit, but the A's still hanging in there.
Right at the bag. Ackley grabs it. Coghlan is retired. Going to give props to Chris Sale. Complete game in that 2-1 win. Ray, he's 9-0 with a 1.58 ERA. He's made 9 starts this year and he's won them all.
Now batting left fielder.
And it's already May the 19th.
It was his 3rd complete game of the season.
You know, you watch him pitch, you wonder how he could ever lose anyway.
Ooh. Or how does anybody get hits off?
Yeah, exactly.
So the White Sox were sitting on a 4-game losing streak. That is done. The White Sox 25-16 with the win. For the Astros, they are now 17-25 after that loss. Colin McHugh pitched well but lost. He's 4-4. Coco Crisp has grounded out twice. He hits one high in the air, right center. Hicks is back. Ellsbury's back. Ellsbury's at the wall, and he makes the catch. If you hit that Saturday, you may have a shot,
Yeah,
Coco.
to be honest, I'm surprised it went as far as it did. Looked like Coco got under it, which he ultimately did, but it did travel a long way. Stayed on the sinker that was left up by Nova.
Now batting center
He
fielder.
left his bat. It's just like, oh, it just missed it, but boy, it just kept carrying and carrying, and go to the right field down, at least closer to the out-of-town scoreboard.
So 2 outs. Nova just 58 pitches so far. Drops that curve in for a strike. The Indians beat the Reds again. Well, the Indians just pounded the Reds 7-2. But that series has been all Cleveland. Indians have won 4 in a row. They're playing very well. Off the plate. So 0-2 to Burns. Look at that ratio. Getting ahead. He's only struck out 2, so he's not using a lot of pitches to strike people out. Blue Jays beat the Twins 3-2 in 11 innings. Troy Tulowitzki knocked in the go-ahead run in the top of the 11th. And the Blue Jays had lost 5 in a row. That losing streak is over. Burns has grounded out twice, both times to the shortstop. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So rolling along right now is Ivan Nova. So we're moving to the 7th. 2-1 Yankees lead. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Clipper. A million Bay Area Transit riders agree. Using Clipper is easier than using cash. I'd like to show downtown Orinda, the famous Orinda Theater. Nice little shops right in that area.
Leading off the top of the 7th inning for New York, number 11.
I want to join that conversation, although they'd be like, excuse me, buddy, we don't know who you are, and you need to leave. Now, Foss, you could go down there and jump right in. Teammates with Reggie for a while.
Could do a lot of listening.
Gardner chops one. Coughlin has it slide under his glove. Alonso jumped for it. He couldn't get it. So Gardner's aboard. So it's going to be a hit. Gardner's been on base 4 times. Fielder's choice, walk, and 2 singles.
Well, I just chopped it high, and it was high off the plate, and Coughlin comes up with it. Saptinski was covering first base, might have had a play, at least a closer play.
So Beltran will now hit from the right side. Takes down and away.
I remember we talked in the open about the bullpen. Well, there's one of them. That's the 7th inning guy, Betances. He's starting to get loose, and Nova has pitched an exceptional game.
Yeah, and the pitch count is low.
It's very low, and it might be that go right to it. And I want to say there was one game recently when Chapman had just come back. It was a 2-1 game, maybe against the White Sox, and they brought the 3 in, and they did their job and held on to win. So that's what the A's, any team, has to deal with. Hard, hard, and harder.
Beltran taps it foul. Beltran has struck out, doubled in a run, and reached on a fielder's choice. 9 hits for the Yankees. They've also received 3 walks. A's have made an error. There was a hit batter. Gardner inches off. Gardner stole a base in the first inning. He's got 8 this year. He's 8 for 9. Zapczynski looked home and throws to first. Yankees with a 2-1 lead. They got a run in the 3rd and a run in the 6th. Well off the plate to even the count at 2-2.
Again, trying to get Beltran even from the right side to roll over on the pitch outside. Just always concerned about the smart hitter that he is going to the opposite field.
Simeon to his right, out at second. The throw is not made. Ball was hit off the end of the bat. So the A's get the lead runner. And that'll bring up Brian McCann.
Number 34.
Well, we told you early, all left-handed hitters in this Yankees starting lineup except Starlin Castro.
Coughlin is second base, and use the left foot to push off with Gardner coming in on him, and maybe
it was just on there.
Coughlin, a little smile going back to his position, but Coughlin's one, and that's where the rule at second base has probably affected him more than anybody, because he likes to go in hard, or like to. Now he's not able to just because of the new rule at second.
1-1 to Brian McCann, who has struck out, reached on an error, and walked. There was a time when Beltran would steal you a base. Vogt coming back. Vogt may have a chance. Flips the mask, and he missed it.
Well, it will come back, and that one came back. He actually just probably went too far. The ball going out for that, the spin's going to bring it back, and he just basically overran it. He got to it and then trying to reach back. See, it always comes back, and that's one that you don't have to go to the ball, because with the spin, it will come back to you.
So it's the ball always coming back to you. It has nothing to do with the wind. It's the spin of the baseball.
It's the spin of the baseball, right? And it doesn't matter what the flag is doing. The ball like that, and it's rare to have a ball that goes straight up and straight back, and you know, it's usually to the side, but well, when that goes up, it's just the spin that will bring it back. And the good thing, it was in foul territory, because I've seen some right at home plate where a catcher does that, ends up dropping fair. But Beltran would have thought there were 2 outs or 1 out. Poor guy, he's going to have to live with that. It's too much of a veteran.
And McCann chases that one. So 2 away here in the 7th.
But Sapczynski, a great pick-me-up there, great slider, and Stephen Vogt very appreciative after having him out with a pop-up, and then comes right back with a good slider to get the always dangerous McCann to swing and miss.
So Castro will hit. Batanza's still throwing out in the Yankees bullpen. First pitch strike to Castro, who is 0 for 3. He batted with runners at first and third in the 3rd and lined out, and he batted with the bases loaded in the 5th and grounded out. So he's had some opportunities tonight, hitting in the 5th spot for the Yankees. He's behind in the count 0-2 here with Beltran at first. Crowd tonight, 17,456. It's been a lively group.
Now the A's fans trying to out yell the Yankee fans, because they are here in big numbers. Actually, Ricky and Reggie were both Yankees and A's.
That's right. Sapczynski ahead in the count of Castro here in the 7th inning. Castro he's ready to swing, man, on every pitch.
Well, the difference with a lefty, the McCann, the slider, that's a pitch that Sapczynski has not thrown to the right-hander. It's more the change-ups and fastballs away. Don't want to take a chance inside with the aggressiveness of Castro. Hey, you want to go backdoor slider? Want to try that? You haven't thrown him one. But Stephen Vogt very quick to go out and talk to his pitcher instead of just trying to go through it with the signs.
So now they're ready. Castro swings and misses, side retired. Couple of strikeouts for Sapczynski. 7th inning stretch time at the Coliseum. 2-1 Yankees.
By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Hey, Know It All with Sportsnet Central, brought to you by Hyundai. It's coming up tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, CSN Bay Area. Complete Sharks Blues Game 3 highlights. Sharks win to go up in that series 2-1. Brody Brazil and Kevin Kurz will report from St. Louis. Monty Poole look ahead to the Warriors Game 3 matchup. Bet-free, Dave Hedlund will host. Here at the Coliseum, it's a tight ball game. The Yankees with the 2-1 lead. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So here you have it, folks. This is the Yankees version of the Big Three. You're seeing number 1, still in Betances. The Yankees will ride these 3 guys as long as they can.
Well, the important thing for the A's, it's a 1-run game, and anything can happen even with 3 great relievers.
Line drive, base hit, right field. Hicks gets over there, and Reddick has his second hit. So good start here in the bottom of the 7th inning against the hard-throwing Betances.
Well, he pitched it down, and of course, if he pitches up in his zone, we've seen Sean Doolittle with his fastball up in his zone, but it gets down. Hitter just drops the head down, and Betances can provide the power. Good job by Hicks getting to the ball to keep it from going to the wall.
Here's Valencia. First pitch, swing and a miss. The Betances, Miller, Chapman trifecta has pitched in the same game 3 times so far, and Chapman just came back. One of those 3 was last night in Arizona. Betances loves that hard curve slider. Boy, it's nasty.
Well, and that's it. He'll throw it, and a lot of times hitters will swing at the pitch looking fastball, and he just, if you take, oh boy.
Reddick runs, and the throw is wide, and it's a stolen base.
And Reddick must have stepped on, he must have stepped on Gregorius, or something happened, or he jammed his head, because Gregorius was limping a little bit. Josh Slanton jammed his left hand. What a great jump he got, head down all the way, and oh gosh, yeah, check the left hand. He jammed it into the bag, and it, well, got hit in the head too. Oh, kicked in the head. Oh wow. So that's what he was grimacing about. Oh wow. Well, Gregorius was limping. I thought maybe Reddick had stepped on him, but it was just the opposite. The left leg knee kicked Reddick in the head.
So let's hope Josh is all right. That's a big stolen base.
Well, and it's the left hand too, so it kicked him, but then watch the left hand. It jams it in and kind of, it's a better shot here maybe to see that the hand going into the bag, trying to grab on, and see how it just wrenched it back a little bit.
Bags are hard.
Yes, they are. They do not move, and legs into the head are hard too.
So he's going to stay in there. That's good news.
What a great jump he got. And again, really no chance. Gregorius had to jump to keep the ball from going into center field.
Now the count is 0-2 to Danny Valencia. Davis to follow, and then Vogt. So they'll have chances to get this tying run home. There's the breaking ball, and Valencia waves at it. So 1 out here in the 7th.
Well, he's throwing a fastball down for strike 1, which is out of the strike zone. Actually, I don't know if he's thrown a strike, except for the pitch that McCann threw to second for the second strike. That breaking ball, you're swinging all his motion.
Here's Chris Davis. Davis has struck out and hit into a 5-4-3 double play. Well, last night in Arizona, Betances threw 31 pitches in the 7th inning. Andrew Miller came in the 8th. He threw 18. Chapman came in the 9th. He threw 13. So Betances had a long inning. He had a couple of strikeouts and a couple of walks. So they'll keep a close eye on this big fella. I mean, he throws 96. The breaking ball is probably even his better pitch, but I think too, his size, he's 6'8", 265 pounds. So well, he is just coming right at you.
So you're saying you don't want to charge him out? Not a good idea. McCann would say, go ahead and charge. I'm just going to stay right here.
Good. You guys can
you
figure it out on your own.
Yeah. Straight up defense, and you know why not against somebody that throws the way he does, because you try to shift to the left side for a pitcher that throws as hard as Betances does. That's unlikely.
Good swing there by Davis on the 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
This pitcher can provide the power. You don't have to really have a big swing, a powerful swing, because you just make solid contact like Reddick did on his base hit.
That's Chapman. Another foul ball, another fastball. You just have to figure at some point he's going to throw that slider.
Right, and you just have to figure that you can't swing it, because it's probably going to be a ball.
And there it was, and it was well off the plate. So Davis takes it, and now he's worked the count full. Vote to follow.
This is one guy, though, you cannot, even though it throws as hard as it does, you cannot be assured that he's going to throw you a fastball, because he wants to try to get you to swing at his curveball, which is a bad pitch normally. And it was.
And it was, and Davis could not pull the trigger. So back-to-back strikeouts. Reddick still at second, and now it's up to Vogt.
This is a hanger, really. I mean, that's one that Chris Davis, he hit it on Tuesday, his first against Cole Hamels, a hanging breaking ball, but this one, though, a little bit inside and broke. Stayed on the inside part of the plate. So I think Stephen Vogt can handle this type of pitch, especially tonight with a couple of hits.
First pitch to Vogt. Swing and a miss, slider. So he'll throw it first pitch, last pitch, any time in the count.
And by the way, we know Hicks can throw.
Good call.
Because
we found that out.
Yeah, and that's why Reddick, with Gregorius playing behind him in second, can and should get a big jump off second.
Tried it again. This time Vogt was able to lay off. Vogt has a pair of line drive singles in this game. His average up to 256. Popped up. Headley, foul territory, and Headley makes the catch. So Betances gets out of it. The A's had Reddick at second and nobody out. Could not score. 8th inning. CSN's Authentic Fan Fridays are back, and we got one tomorrow night. It's going to be against the Yankees. You're going to get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an Authentic A's Fan beach towel, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher. It's all for one great price. The best deal in Bay Area baseball is CSN's Authentic Fan Friday. So Reddick is coming out of the game. Tyler Ladendorf is now out in right field. And the new pitcher is John Axford. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. First pitch to Headley is tapped toward Alonso. Easy play. One out here in the 8th inning for Axford. His 16th appearance. He's done a good job so far. 17 innings pitched, 3 walks and 11 strikeouts. There's Ladendorf.
Yeah, Josh Reddick was looking. Actually, he was at second, and then as his glove was brought out to him, he started to go to right field and then looked at his left hand and just could not go and play. So hopefully get some treatment and be ready for tomorrow. I just checked the left hand. He gets kicked in the head, but it's the left hand that he jammed is the one that affected him the most.
Two 2-0 now to Ackley. Ackley is grounded out, walked, and singled. Singled and scored in the 6th inning. There's step number 2. Andrew Miller loosening up. Simeon scoops it up. And Ackley is gone. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning, and it'll be Didi Gregorius. Angels lead the Dodgers 5-4 in the 6th inning.
Gregorius.
That game being played in Anaheim. Red Sox did not play, so Jackie Bradley was unable to extend his hitting streak, sitting at 24 games. We saw enough of it. We saw the Jackie Bradley show, and it was pretty good.
And especially after Shaw was hit but not hit and reached base. Remember, he was the one that was. But Bradley hit the home run after the next hitter. Actually, Shaw was on. The next hitter struck out. Bradley hit the 3-run home run. That series was so bad anyway. All the bad things were going to happen. It didn't matter.
So a nice inning for Axford, and bottom of the 8th is coming up. It'll be Alonso, Simeon, and Coghlan. 2-1 Yankees lead.
given by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 2-9-0 for the Yankees, 1-5-1 for the A's. Nova was good for 6 innings. Kendall Graveman worked in and out of trouble. When it was all said and done, gave up 2 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings. Reddick with a home run. And the Yankees with solo runs in the 3rd and the 6th. And well, the Yankees are where they want to be because they can now use their bullpen weapons. When it's time for change, take Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. They've already used Betances, and now Andrew Miller comes in. Miller was the closer last year. I'm sure he'll still save some games this year, but going to pitch the 8th. It'll be Alonso, Simeon, and Coghlan. Mark Teixeira takes over at first base.
Think about Miller. He's kind of the same as Betances, only from the left side. 2-pitch pitcher. There's the breaking ball back to back that he will throw pretty consistently.
The slider is nasty.
Yep. And like Betances, more breaking pitches than fastballs.
And Alonso's, he's going to see one soon. He's a fastball, and it's bounced to second. Castro charges and fires to first. 1 out here in the 8th inning. Well, last year Miller, as the closer, had 36 saves for the Yankees. He had 100 strikeouts in 61 innings. Really turned his career around in Boston. Went to the bullpen for the Red Sox and became very good and got a big free agent contract with the Yankees. This is the 2nd year of a 4-year deal for Andrew Miller. Not close, 1-1. Billy Butler has come out into the on-deck circle. Rodriguez and Doolittle. Ladendorf's in the game, so the A's other right-handed hitters are Butler and McBride. Muncy is the left-handed hitter on the bench.
July the 8th, Miller trying to save the game, had a 3-run lead. Marcus Semien with a 2-run home run down the left field line on a 3-2 fastball made it a 1-run game, but he still got the save anyway. And a couple of hits. The home run by Semien.
There's the slider, just missed. There's a ball loose out in left field. Gardner went to retrieve that. Of a half swing, but Semien stays alive.
If he goes to 3-2 again, he won't get the same fastball that he hit at the time when the lead saved for Sabathia.
Semien, a strikeout and a ground out, trying to get aboard. Good take there, and now a full count.
Well, see if he does get it.
Defenses straight away for Semien. Fastball outside corner, strike 3 call. So he stayed with the heater.
Yeah. Well, the breaking ball in, then went fastball back door outside corner, and Marcus thought it was off the plate, but the plate umpire said no, and looks like Marcus was correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, now batting.
But the call went to
number 3,
the veteran Miller, and
number 16, Billy Butler.
So here's Butler to pinch hit for Coghlan. First pitch is tapped foul. Butler at 222 with 5 RBIs. He's 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter this year. Coghlan, while he was in there, grounded out a couple of times. Swing and a miss. So now Butler's going to have to tighten it up here. He's behind in the count 0-2. Nova went 6. Betances pitched the 7th. Miller here in the 8th. Gregorius charges. Gregorius on the run in time, and Andrew Miller has a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 8th. 9th inning coming up from the Coliseum. Yankees 2 and the A's 1.
The A's at mealtime on Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th. 15,000 fans will receive an A's player pet bow featuring Stella Doolittle alongside Baxter and Murray Reddick. This metal pet bow will have the rest of the neighborhood packed howling with envy. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. Pet bow.
Yeah, you showed some enthusiasm.
Like that? Can't wait for Memorial Day, man. Get a pet bowl.
All right, man.
Have all the dogs howling in the neighborhood.
All right. Fernando Rodriguez takes over when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake expert. So pitcher number 4 for the A's. And it's Hicks, Ellsbury, and Gardner, with Aroldis Chapman warming up in the bullpen. Hicks had a big hit in the 6th inning, and right now it's the difference in the game. A 2-out RBI double. Simeon and Valencia, and Simeon had it. It popped out of his glove. Yeah, a long ways to go.
Well, look where the ball hits him. In the pocket, popped straight out, and could not close his glove quickly enough to keep it in the pocket. But he uses a relatively small glove because of the shortstop position. But when it hit in the pocket, that's the hard part, the palm, and it popped out. A good run, good attempt, but no play.
That's Matt McBride, who's now in right field, and Ladendorf moves from right field to second base. pitch to Hicks is a fastball high. Hicks has also grounded out twice, but
it started after the high fastball, but held up.
Hicks is a switch hitter. Close pitch, 93 miles an hour by Fernando Rodriguez. There's Chapman. You can hear him warming up here.
The radio ball.
Landorf, quick release as he had to go a long ways to his left.
He's got that play down pat. Strong arm, good range to his left. But the ball might be heading to the outfield, but Landorf, as we have seen him in this homestand, to his left very nicely. This time did not have to do the 360. Instead of just kind of shuffled his feet and good underhand strong throw to Alonso. Versatility. Went into right field, now at second base. McBride versatile also. The catcher playing right field and more of an outfielder first baseman before coming to the A's.
Here's Ellsbury. Fastball is high. Ellsbury is 1 for 3. Single, strikeout, hit by pitch, and a ground out. In the 9th inning, the A's will have the top of their order against Chapman. More action for Marcus Semien. And he throws out Ellsbury. Semien's been busy tonight. Picked it clean so far, although the tough play down the line popped out of his glove, but that's all right.
Now batting, number 11, Brett Gardner.
And here's Gardner. The A's have yet to retire Gardner. He's got 2 singles, a walk, and a fielder's choice, so he's been on base all 4 times. First pitch is a bit high. Tomorrow night it'll be Sonny Gray and CC Sabathia for game 2 of the series. First pitch is 6:35 with fireworks after the game, so keep that in mind. It's a little bit earlier start tomorrow night. Sean Manai and Masahiro Tanaka on Saturday. Here's the matchup. And CC Sabathia right now is on the disabled list. He will be removed from the disabled list tomorrow, and he will get the start. Sonny will be ready to go. So with fireworks, Friday night crowd should be a little good atmosphere tomorrow night.
A lot going on tomorrow night.
One and 2. Gardner waits. Ball is in the dirt. He did not swing. It's Brian Knight down at third. Boat sets up outside, and the pitch is hit high and foul. The Sunday matchup will be Jesse Hahn and Michael Pineda. The A's will have one of those road trips that we like. 3 in Seattle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then we get to come right back home. This one bounces into the seats. Yeah, best dad got it. And right now he is the best dad.
Got to be best. No jacket and Bermuda shorts on.
Handing out foul balls. Vogt backhands it. See, he makes the catch. Now check out the back of his jersey. Best hand. We didn't make that up.
Well,
lefty. He's a lefty.
Number 12.
Number 12. Another payoff pitch to Brett Gardner. And he missed inside. A's want to check. Todd Tishner says, the home plate umpire says, I got it, and he won't. So Gardner's on base for the 5th time tonight.
Well, the fastball in, and
Carlos
even close to
Beltran.
really being a swing.
So Beltran will get his 5th at bat. 1 for 4 with an RBI double. Fastball is inside. Graveman, Zabzinski, Axford, and Rodriguez. John Axford had a 3 up, 3 down 8th inning. Zabzinski an inning and a 3rd, couple of strikeouts. So the bullpen so far has done their job.
Well, you have to figure with 2 outs and big run. Of course, Beltran has the power as Chapman gets ready. Lobbing. 97.
Yeah, he's in the 90s when he lobs it, no question.
Beltran up hitting from the left side. He shot a double down the left field line his earlier at bat.
Gardner always a threat to take off. Not running, and the pitch is a strike outside corner. Saw the signal from Stephen Vogt. The signal to throw to first.
That's it. Yeah. Sometimes just the old thumb and rollover is enough to tell the pitcher what to do. Stephen Vogt looking into the dugout. Signs given by Bob Melvin. Either a fastball in or throw over again.
Driven to right. McBride near the wall. McBride is going to turn around, and it's gone. Carlos Beltran, a 2-run homer, and that gives the Yankees some breathing room. It's now 4-1.
Breathing room they did not need, but another 2-out walk. And it happened earlier in the 3rd inning, the other time that Beltran drove home. Gardner as well. Got a 2-out walk. And boy, it's just tough to pitch inside because the Yankees like to hit fastballs inside. If you make a mistake, don't get it in far enough. And to Gardner, he did. But to Beltran, he left it out, and Beltran hit another home run. So he can forget about not remembering how many outs because he's more than made up for with that 2-run shot, making it a 3-run game.
Most home runs by a switch hitter. Only 3 other switch hitters have hit more home runs than Mr. Beltran. Just fouled. Headed down toward the bullpen. He's always had that very smooth, sweet swing. Right to the ball. Quick.
Well, the sound, cool night, doesn't matter. It's too bad. It'd have been nice to go into the bottom of the ninth trailing by just 1 against Chapman, but that's not the story.
Swing and a miss by McCann. Swung over top. It's the second home run Rodriguez has allowed this year. That's Kirby Yates who joins Chapman. That one's hit high in the air, but in the ballpark as Burns moves toward right center. He's got it side retired. Career home run number 401 for Carlos Beltran. So the Yankees lead 4-1. The big lefty's coming in. So the Yankees leading 4-1, bottom of the 9th inning. Well, the A's have had some exciting moments in the past 5 or 6 days. It won't be easy tonight against this big fella. Making his 6th appearance. He's 4 for 4 in save opportunities. And everybody knows the deal. He throws over at 100 miles an hour consistently.
Yeah, like every pitch.
Yeah, it's not a let's throw one in there every once in a while. So Aroldis Chapman. He's still only 28 years old. Big trade coming over from the Cincinnati Reds. First pitch is a slider, and it's a strike.
Of course, everybody's sitting fastball, so let's throw a slider.
Crisp is 0 for 3. And he lines one to left, and that's a base hit. Another off-speed pitch. That one 86 miles an hour.
What is he doing?
I think that's a fair question.
I mean, seriously. He throws 100. Maybe he's just finessing a little bit. Everybody's looking fastball, but even if you look for it, doesn't mean you're going to hit it. And Coco back-to-back breaking pitches. Gardner kept it from going to the wall. Whereas maybe he's teasing a little bit. Yeah,
he's going to use up his allotment of sliders.
I think he already has.
There's the fastball. We got that one at 98 miles an hour. Chapman from Cuba.
And to say he would have done that with a 1-run lead, probably not. But no, he's got a 3-run lead. Helps tremendously for a closer.
And there's the heater. Heads up, Billy.
Remember the A's went into Cincinnati a few years ago, and Derek Norris took his 100-mile-an-hour fastball and hit it out to left center. Didn't really mean anything, but this.
That is painful.
Wow. I think you have to turn it up a notch. You know,
Coco. Not sure why Coco's at second base. I didn't see a balk call. It's been 2 foul balls by Burns.
Well, they must have. It's 0-1. So it's
maybe they did.
Yeah.
Right. So Coco now at second base. That one fouled to the screen at 100 miles an hour. So we have not heard anything official.
Well, it's the only thing I can think of, because he couldn't go to second on a foul ball. Yeah, he didn't stop.
Yeah,
you can hear it. He didn't stop.
So he looks like he just did not completely stop. He does this time. 0-2 pitch. Rolled foul past Mike Eldreddy.
It's well documented that Chapman was suspended and served his suspension for 30 days, but there was a story that if it gone 45, it would have prevented him from being a free agent after this year. So it was 30, so he will still be a free agent, and he will pick his team.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
That's probably the easiest 100-mile-an-hour fastball you ever see.
Yep.
Ryan McCann brings a new glove to the park every day just to get it broken in the 9th inning.
Chapman is 6'4", about 220 pounds. So you always wonder. There's guys that are as big as Chapman. What makes his arm so special that he can throw significantly harder than everybody else? Who knows?
And still wonder why he throws anything but a fastball. Hitters will tell you that even though they know it's coming, doesn't mean they're going to hit it.
Center field. Ladendorf hit it pretty well, but Ellsbury's going to get back and he'll make the catch. So 2 away, and I'll bring up Danny Valencia. But if you watch his delivery, Ray, he really he sits on that back leg and he really pushes off hard. Valencia had a base hit in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Danny Valencia, he doesn't get cheated. He's not afraid to take a rip at a good fastball. And the first one is up and away at 97. He has also hit a fly ball to left field, and he has struck out. Chapman kicks and a little slider that is in for a strike.
Well, you gear for a fastball, and here comes a slider, and not much you can do except say tip your hat and hope you get a fastball if you're looking for it, so you can turn it up a notch or two.
Good swing there by Valencia on a high fastball. So now it's 1-2. Good swing right there. Chapman trying to save it for Nova. And he wants to save it with a different baseball. Led off the inning with a base hit, but the A's need more base runners. One-two pitch. Foul off the facing of the little area where the
Here's tonight's Honda.
stand.
Honda player of the game, Ivan Nova. He was very, very good tonight. Matter of fact, ended with 12 ground ball outs and 3 fly ball outs, and some good defense. A couple of double plays turned by the Yankees defense, and another 4-6-3 that was fouled on the base hit. But he's very good and just good enough. Enough for the 2-1 lead, and had the big 3 coming in. Of course, added the 2-run home run. But Honda player of the game goes to Ivan Nova.
So Valencia getting some good hacks in against the hard stuff from Aroldis Chapman. Chris Davis would be next. If Valencia could somehow get aboard, Davis would be the tying run. That would be a fun matchup to watch.
That would be great. Come on, Valencia.
Swing and a miss. He took a little off, and he gets the strikeout. And the Yankees get the win in game 1 of this 4-game series. So Nova gets the win, Graveman gets the loss, and give Aroldis Chapman the save. It took 2 hours and 39 minutes tonight here at the Coliseum. Announced attendance was 17,456. Final score, the Yankees defeat the Athletics 4-1. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on CSN California. It's part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Mindy Bach and Joe Stiglitz starts right now.